So today we're going to be doing project number 3 in the Sparkle of the Season class kit. These are the dies we've been working with. We've worked with the stars for our Halloween card. We worked with the leaf wreath for our Thanksgiving card, and today we're going to work with our pine needle wreath for this beautiful Christmas card right here. Now this is kind of fun. It uses a lot of dies. It's not a lot of stamping. We just have to stamp that. This label comes from the Messages dies, and it fits on there perfectly. I really like the Messages dies because it's got all different sizes of messages, and I think it's a good investment for any stamper. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. Let's see, for stamping, well, let's see what's in our kit. Now, you can always check out my website, www.carolbcrafts.com, to see what current class kit I'm offering, and the current host code, you can find it there too. So inside you're going to find your embellishments, which are these two little embellishments. They are two small gold glitter enamel dots. They're really pretty. I thought they were really pretty for this card. And then here are our labels for our messages from our Messages dies. I give you two, you only need one. Then of course we have our 8.5 by 5.5 thick basic white scored at 4 1/4. So let's just go ahead and close that and crease that fold with our bone folder. And I love this shaded spruce. It's a really pretty green. I like it. It's a cool green. We got quite a bit of it. These two pieces we're going to be cutting our wreath dies from, and they are 4 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my wreath die, and that's the one with the pine needle wreaths. So we'll be cutting two of those. These are our front panel and our inside panel. Let's see. I guess we can go ahead and put our front panel on. That's the larger one. So if you're not sure, just measure them. The one that's 1/8 of an inch bigger on both sides is the one that goes on the front. We don't have any ribbon, so we don't have to worry about putting our front panel on and then realizing we didn't put our ribbon on. The ribbon that we have is just a bow. It's not an actual ribbon that goes underneath the panel. This is just a 1/16 of an inch all around. And let's go ahead and put our inside in. I like to do this to get rid of, not get rid of, but to use up the as much as we can to get it our desk free of things that can get ink on them or cause us trouble later on. So the inside was a 4 by 5 1/4, just so you know, and this was 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. If you want to make more. Now we have a piece of this beautiful paper here, and I'm not sure where this paper is from. I think it's from Painted Christmas. Painted Christmas. Lots of beautiful paper there in the Painted Christmas collection. Some of it we didn't use, but maybe use later on. So Painted Christmas DSP. This we don't want to put on yet. It is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have a real red. This is from the Basic Borders dies. I started out with a 3/4 inch by 5 1/2 piece of real red, and then I just put the die up along the edge of the 3/4 and ran it through. So we're going to put that on the front here, And we want to make it so each edge is kind of matching. And you can do that. You can figure that out ahead of time, how to make it so that the edges are matching if you can, as much as possible. It looks like this one's going to go like right up against that edge right there, and then I'm going to trim that side off. I'm going to put that on with some glue. I'm just going to make little dots of glue. I'm going to put them right underneath there, and then maybe some along the bottom, a real thin line along the bottom. All right, so I know that I might want to go ahead and put another little dot right here. I don't want that coming up on the edge there. And I know I'm going to cut this edge off, so let's see. This is going to go flush against this corner here. Yours may not. You may have to cut some off on both sides. You just figure it out and do what you need to do. So I can see that this one is going to be perfectly even if I just trim this off. Yay! So this is ready to go on the front now, and it has a 1/16 of an inch, and I'm gonna just use my seal for that. Make sure it's opening the right way. I don't want to put it on upside down. There we go. So that is pretty much everything except, well, we could, I guess, yeah, we don't want to do anything else right now. So we'll put this aside. We'll get busy with our stamping. I guess we'll do our stamping first. So we need these and this. This is our front labels and the inside. And this is landscape, so we want to stamp this way. This is the inside. May the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. So I guess I stamped that in the center, and then I added this piece here, which is 3/4 by 3 3/4. And this white, basic white, is 3 3/4 by 5. So 3 3/4 by 5, we'll be stamping on that. So I'll bring in our Stamparatus. Okay, so here's my Stamparatus. Now these are, I don't know what happened to my real red. Looking for my real red ink. I sure hope I haven't lost it. I'm going to use my deluxe foam mat, since these are photopolymer stamps. Okay, real red. Here it is. Whoops. I always hit my knee when I come back. Okay, so, well, it might be a little too early to open the real red, huh? Let's see, what we need is our plastic, our 4x6 plastic. I have my, I hope you keep yours, your little scratch paper that you put just a little dab of Stampin' Seal on to hold your labels when you're doing this. Okay, so I have my 4x6 plastic here. I'm gonna get my stamp, my Merry Christmas stamp, and it's really pretty Merry Christmas. And I'm just gonna lay that down so that it's straight. When you're working with a long, large photopolymer stamp, sometimes they can get a little wonky, and that's why it's good to use the lines in your pad underneath to get it straight and not kind of curved. You can curve it if you want it, but For this, we don't want it curved. Okay, so I'm going to pick that up. And I'll have to put my plastic back in place, which is fine. I'm used to that. I'm going to stamp, ink up with real red, and stamp that there. Okay, that's our Merry Christmas. Now that shows me where it's going to stamp so that when I bring this in, if that plastic stays in place, then it's going to stamp exactly, and I want to have it exactly in the middle so I can put my gems on the sides and it'll look nice and even. It might take you just a second to line it up. Put that down so it doesn't move. And because this is photopolymer, I'm going to use some removable Scotch tape just to hold that down so it doesn't go anywhere when I pull it away, because it's very sticky. These stamps are very sticky and they like to pull everything up when they come up. So ink that up again because I want it to be nice and rich. And that's what's great about the Stamparatus. You don't have to be an expert stamper to do well in your stamping. Now that S needs a little help there, so there we maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure why it's not getting its fair share. Okay, so that's the Merry Christmas. We'll put that aside for now to dry. I'm going to use my Honest wipes, and they sell different Honest wipes. Be sure you get the ones that are plant-based wipes, gentle. These are 99% water. They don't have anything in them. They're not conditioning. They're nothing, just all natural. So I hope they will be kind to our stamps. Okay, so that is our Merry Christmas, and now we're going to do the inside, which is May the Sparkle of the Season Warm Your Heart and Home. And find where my Merry Christmas goes here. I'll get the May the Sparkle of the Season Warm Your Heart and Home. Now we're going to clean off our plastic because I forgot to do that. And put that back in place. I hope y'all don't mind doing this technique, but for me it's easier than doing and redoing. Put my plastic back in place and ink that up. Okay, so this is going to go here in the center. May the Sparkle of the Season. That looks good. And I don't know if I need any tape for that, but I'm going to use some anyway, just in case. Better safe than sorry. There we go. And I like it rich, so I'm gonna do it again. All right, you know, that's our stamping. Easy peasy, huh? Easy peasy day. Doing a lot of die cutting though to make up for it, so don't get too rested. I'm gonna still make you work. All right, so I'll put my stamp away. Don't want to lose it. All right. That is that, I don't know, I can't tell. It looks like it might be a tiny bit crooked, but It's early. I don't know. So I put my inks away. All right, so we know that we're going to die cut 2 of these, and then with the leftovers, we're going to die cut some leaves. Aren't these darling dies? These leaves, where we have some excess, we're going to die cut leaves. So let's just die cut these 2, and then we'll do, these are the holly leaves, not the oak leaves looking leaves, but the holly leaves. And then we have some of these little berries. We're going to die cut those out of Real Red. And just so you know, I put some adhesive back on there so that those little berries are going to be very easy to apply afterwards. Some this adhesive sheets that we sell, I put some of that adhesive on the back. So let's get started here. Go ahead and do our wreaths first. I keep changing out my plates. So I was doing some embossing earlier, and so I had to change out my plates. Okay, so let's do this. Get my top plate. So I have plate 1, 2, and 3, and then I have another 3. And I'm just going to go forward and backward so that I don't have to, it's easier for me. So I'm saving my spare. I'm going to get my pad from my Take Your Pick tool die brush. This makes this a lot easier. Don't have to push hard, just roll it over and it does the work for you. And it looks good. I just have to take and poke through some of those little holes and pull it off. And look, isn't that gorgeous? Love it, love it. Easy peasy. Dump these in the trash. Let's do the next one. Round 2. I'm trying to be sneaky here with these plates, but sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. Again with the die brush. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to poke through some of these little holes, and I have my beautiful wreath here. Now you're going to need to do, I think I have it down that you need to die cut 10 of these little leaves. So we're going to be here a while, so I guess we can have a little conversation while we're doing this. I'm going to try to be frugal and use as much of this as possible. So that's one. Okay, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so I've done enough. I've done enough. put that die away over here. Now we're going to do 3 of the little cherries, and then we'll be done with our die. So I'm going to put them side by side. Should be enough to do 1, 2, 3. I said cherries, I meant berries. But they could be cherries if you wanted cherries. Now I know I'm going to need this for this. Now these are going to be kind of hard to keep track of, so I'm going to try to not lose any of those. But having that adhesive backing is going to make all the difference when we go to use these on our card. Come on. My plate is curving. If you ever have your plate curl, turn it around and do the other way, and it will uncurl. It'll curl the other way. So, and it may curl because of the way I do it. I don't line them up perfectly, but it's all good. All right, a lot of die cutting. I hope you didn't break a sweat, but it's worth it. So one last little run here with my die brush. And done with that die. That one little berry doesn't want to do its part. Okay, so done with this. And let's bring in everything. So we know this is going to go here. It looks like it's a little, I must not have cut it to size. It must be, yeah, it's supposed to be 3 3/4 and it's 4. So guess what? I'm going to have to cut it. I don't know if yours will be. Yours may be the right size. I hope so. If not, do what I'm doing, which is I'm going to put it here and then bring it down here. That's what I like about glue, is it's forgiving. I'm going to get my scissors gooey here. I'm going to regret this. I better clean them off. Okay. Now we do have in the corner here, if you look at these, you'll see that they have curves. Now I've got glue on my fingers. They have a curve to them, and some curve to one direction, some curve to the other direction. So you want one curving this way and one curving that way. And we're going to put these on with glue dots, and believe it or not, if you put it on the widest part, you'll find that it'll actually hide that glue dot really well. Okay, and it helps if you have this tool, the Take Your Pick tool, to help you put it in place. So I wonder when they design these, do they design them to be wide enough to hide a glue dot? Do they think about that and say, well, we have to make it wide enough so they can put it on with the glue dot and it won't show? Okay, so I took the adhesive backing off, and now it's not quite the same as that. These could have been a little closer, but I think it'll be okay. So let's put that inside our card. Bring in our card. Put some adhesive on there. This has 1/8 of an inch all around. Now isn't that pretty? So bright and cheery. Now with our wreaths, we want them here, and we're going to make it so that we don't really have any like bare spots. So we're going to use our glue, and we're going to glue where we see places that, and I can see I missed a little place there. We're going to glue on places that have large surface, like the base of the leaves, obviously. And I have to pinch this because the glue has dried on the tip. All right, so here we go. Little tiny dots. And just take your time. Find spots that you can dot. Most of this is wide enough that you can put a little dot there and it's not going to be a problem. Be sure to get the inside. You don't want it sticking up or it will catch on your envelope when you go to close it. Okay, I'll give you a little peek at this so you can kind of see what I did. It is lots of little dots, and then I'm just going to set this one here. This one placement doesn't really matter too much, just as long as it's in the center. Take my ribbon, push it down, give it a chance to dry. Now this one, I do want to I don't want it going directly over that. I want it to be kind of different so that I don't have any bare spots. So that looks good. So this is going to be my top. So I'm going to turn it around. And remember that this is the top. So when I go to put it on, it'll already be where I want it to be. Now this glue does dry clear, so if any of it kind of shows, then you don't have to worry. And then you can always use a clear eraser to erase it if it's too much. Okay, I think that's good. So that's my top. And it's going to go here at the top over this. Get my ribbon holder. Oh, my ribbon's coming out. Come on, ribbon. You're causing trouble. Okay. Now, get the glue off my fingers because I do have some glue on there. Now, so remember I told you that you have some of these that go in one direction and some that go in another direction. Let me get this glue off my fingers, because if I don't, I am going to be struggling the whole time trying to pick up these leaves. And then I'm going to put some of this on too. This sort quick. So I think what I need to do is decide. Now the more pointy part is the top. So I'm going to match these up right here. And what I'm going to do is go around the wreath here in a minute. I still have sticky on my fingers. Oh gee. Okay, that one goes that way. This will help me when I go to put them on if I take the time to do this now instead of trying to put them together after as I put them on. And you can see we're going to use a lot of glue dots to put these on. I don't know that we're going to need all of these, but I'll go ahead and get them ready just in case. There's that one and that one. Okay. So our Merry Christmas, we're not going to worry about that right now. All we're going to do now is put these on our wreath, and we're going to do that with glue dots, and we're going to do basically stagger them, like one this way, one that 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 way, all the way around. So this one's going to go on the outside because it's curving like this. So get my glue dot, and I don't know, I'm just gonna do it like this because if I use my other tool it'll take forever, and it's still gonna, I'm kind of just twisting it off. So if you see this one kind of going that way, this one kind of going that way, we're going to do that all the way around. And I'm leaving just a little bit of room where I'm going to put one of the little berries. So it looks like I'm going to have enough to spare. And it looks like one more. So, yep, I didn't have to do the extra one, but it doesn't hurt to have extra. All right, there's our wreath. So pretty, but it's going to get even prettier when we put on our circles, our little berries. Now this is also tedious, especially if you don't really have long nails like me. My nails don't ever grow out very long. Okay, so I'm just going to find a place that looks like a good place to put it in between the berries. I think one more and we will be done. I have an extra one. It's better to have extra than not enough, right? All right. The last thing we have to do to make our card is put our sentiment on, and I used looks like I used regular size regular size dimensionals, Stampin' dimensionals. Where are you? Here we go. And what I want to do is make sure, I'm going to put it on the end, and make sure that the flat edges of the dimensional is along the flat edges of the label. That way it doesn't show from underneath. This is just the perfect size. Now we're not going to put anything in the middle because it's going to go across the wreath, and the wreath is going to provide it with a certain amount of support. So it's about 3/4 of an inch from the top of these little, maybe an inch. It's hard to tell. Just get it on there level. That's the biggest thing. And even on the sides and level on the bottom. Looks good. Push it down. Now our little small gold glitter gems, embellishments, get them out of there. They're going to go on the side here. Not too close to the edge, like 1/4 of an inch from that, the tip of the edge there. Good. All right, let me clean off this a little bit. Now the bow. The bow. Don't we love the bow? So, you know how I make bows. I find the curve. So I find the curve, and then I do 2 loops, even loops like that. Make sure they're even on they meet sides to side. They meet. This one has a little bit longer tail. I want the tails to be even. 2. Okay, so this loop is going to go over that loop like that and make an X. And I'll try to do it so I can show you. Okay, so there's my X. This loop over that loop. Now what I want to do next, you see this little hole right here that I created when I made the X? This tip is going to go through that hole. So I'm going to push with my finger, hold it with my thumb, and push it through there. Now there's other ways to make bows too, but this is my favorite. Grab it and pull it. And it looks like it needs a little more love over here. And you can adjust it by pulling it like so. And I'm going to push it because I don't want it that big. And push and push and pull. Tighten it. It's a little bit bigger over here than I want it to be. Pull. All right. Then you decide, and pull those down a little bit. Then you decide which side looks the best. I think this side looks better, so I'll put my glue dots on the back here. But first I think I'll go ahead and trim it. Now these, sometimes I trim it this way, sometimes I trim it this way. This one I'm going to trim this way. And there we go. And there, that's a little bit there. Perfect. And this was 9 inches of real red double stitched satin ribbon that I started out with. So I'll get my glue dots. And then that's just going to go at the top, like you would see on a regular wreath, just at the top there. This is not perfect by any means, but it does the job. It does its job. Okay, so that is our card for today. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I will see you for card number 4. Have a great weekend. Bye.